Phillies Karen. Did you see this? Or the subtitle of this is Gen X, come and get your Karens. Uh, so it was at a Miami baseball game against Philadelphia, and this lady, gray Karen hair, like she came out of central casting for Karens. You know what I mean? Like this, you couldn't have looked more like a Karen. Wearing a Phillies sweatshirt, and there was a home run, and Karen went running for the ball for for the baseball, and there was a guy there, a dad, who went running for it too. He got it, thought great, goes, gives it to his son. It's his son is about to celebrate his 10th birthday, I think it was. Gives it to his son, having a moment, like a beautiful father-son moment, and all of a sudden, here comes Karen. Here comes Philly's Karen, and Philly's Karen storms over there with this entitled Karen energy, and she demands that he give her her the ball because, like, I don't know, she wanted it. It was in her area. It came down in her area. She was near it. She went for it, and by God, she wanted this ball. And he argued not for long. He argued with her a little bit, and finally said, "You know what? Fine." Gave her the ball, which probably was the smart thing to do because let's be honest, like you know, she didn't look exactly balanced at that moment. She didn't look exactly, together. And she comes storming over like a bull and screaming like in his face while he's like with his son and family, demanding this ball and just gave it to her, which is probably yeah, like I said, was probably the right thing because like who knows, like she looked a little, she looked a little aggressively cuckoo, like like this woman looked a little nuts, right? With her big Karen energy, her PKE, big Karen energy. And he gave her the ball, which is, probably the wise thing to do. And off she goes. And like, then people like are booing her and say, yeah, and she's like, starts giving them the finger. But I think we got to be honest, Gen X folk, that this is one of ours. This woman is one of ours. And we have to accept that and hopefully keep ourselves in check here. Because, I'm Gen X. I grew up the same way everyone else did. That we were feral when we didn't come home till the street lights were on, and no one, well, I called it benevolent neglect. Like people, like our parents were doing other things and just sort of let us on our own, and it was Lord of the Flies out there on the street, and all that is true. And a lot of podcasters, a lot of bloggers will just like tell you how great it was and how wonderful it was. But I'm telling you, and I've been saying this for the last few episodes, that there was a dark side to this. And I think this is the dark side coming out. This is the dark side of what that energy can, that's, no one's going to get in my way and I'm going to fight for what I want. And in the right circumstances, that's great. That's a great Gen X trait of, going, standing up for what you believe and going for it and being yourself and all of those great things that, self-sufficiency. Uh, a lot of that's great, but it can sort of morph into this Karen thing. And and you're seeing more and more of it is, like someone just at a cashier, or they're yelling at the gas station, or they're yelling at the A&P, or they want their ball back. And this sometimes I think is how this Gen X darker energy can come out. And I'm sure in this lady's head, and yeah, in this lady's head, that she was absolutely right, you know, that this was hers and someone had slighted her or taken something from her. And by golly, and it didn't matter who else was around, by golly, she was going to get it back, and she was going to get what she deserved because no one walks over her, right? No one walks over Philly's Karen. So, and she got her ball, and the little fellow there, like the mothers came up and gave him a bunch of merch, which was beautiful, and he got a signed bat, and he got to meet the players, and it was all cool, and it ended okay. But wow, but it was just like it was bizarre because it was like this really nice moment between a father and son, and I'm guessing the dad might was either elder millennial or a younger Gen X himself, and like it was like whoa, like where and like you can see like this dark Karen energy just coming at him. Uh, but she got her ball. Uh, but you know what? I think she's going to get a lot more. I don't know who she is. I'm not trying to find out who she is. I just sort of like quickly checked online that I got got the story straight of exactly what was happening. But it doesn't look like anyone's doxed her. But and I hope no one does because that's really sort of darker side of the internet that I don't dig because I got this once. I got sort of a pile on for something, and it's the pits like so. And I hope like and I don't want her to get that, but she like if there is a most hated person on the internet right now, it could be Phillies Karen. With Phillies Karen because people do not like and like the first time I saw it, I just thought, whoa, because here's a woman who could have been in my class growing up, but and I know that tough, hard ass, you know, don't mess with me, don't take what's mine, and like I said, in some circumstances it's just fine, but in others it just gets dark and wrong, and this madam was wrong. And Gen X folks, like, well, we got to check our pals on this, and we got to say, like, when this is coming out, you got whoa, you got to dial this back, and it's not just women. And I know calling her Phillies Karen, but it can happen to men too. I've seen men doing it at the airport, and that don't mess with me. I know what's right, and just like dial it back, guy. Just dial it back, and really, and probably not smart to do it on a jumbotron. Karen, uh, Karen from Central Casting, not a good idea. But like, we really gotta like check ourselves if seeing if this energy can come out this way. Because I think just with the trauma that we grew up with, and I've said this before, is that we have a tendency to laugh at our trauma. Like I'm a writer. My name is Jeffrey Luscombe. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Jeffrey Luscombe. I am a writer and author of Shirts and Skins, my first novel, and To Refrain from Embracing, my latest novel. And it's about growing up Gen X and what it was like growing up feral and what it was like growing up sort of Lord of the Flies out on the street. and so I know where this is coming from and how we laugh at our trauma because we either laugh at it, and I write about that, or we dismiss it and say, yeah, this awful, horrible thing happened to me, but wasn't as bad as what happened to like so and so down the street. So we either dismiss it, we laugh about it. Some of us write about it, turn it into novels and art, but I think sometimes it can come out in darker ways, and I think that's what happened with Phillies Karen. It just came out the wrong way. So hopefully we're looking at ourselves, keeping ourselves in check, um, and checking our fellow Gen Xers when we see it sort of going off the track. Like I don't know if anyone could have stopped old Karen, but maybe if there was a friend nearby going, whoa, whoa, no, no, this, just calm yourself. I'll get you a ball. I'll get you a jersey. Just relax. But I don't think anything could have stopped Locomotive Karen getting that ball back. But yeah, that's it. That's just a quick jump on with everyone else talking about Phillies Karen. My name is Jeffrey Luscombe, like I said. Yeah, earlier this week I did a signing at the Indigo at Mount Sinai in Toronto. Went great, sold lots of books. I had to get some more in, but there are books there and in any Indigo. In Canada if you'd like to read my Gen X novels. So that's it for me. 10 minutes. I think that's quite enough for a podcast, especially one that's just starting. And thanks a lot. Let me know what you think. Do you see this dark energy coming out with Gen X? Like, this isn't a crazy thesis of mine, right? That sometimes put into the right context is fantastic. It gets things done. It moves things forward. We progress. And when it's in its darker energy, it comes out like this, and it just comes out kind of crazy and entitled and Looney Tunes. So let me know what you think. That's it for me. I'm signing off. It is Sunday, and it's just halftime in the football game, so I want to get back to that. And have a great day. This is Jeffrey Luscombe, and that's it for me.